Hey guys, it's AG33 here, and today is my first YouTube video with commentary. I've uploaded a couple of compilations before, but I'm looking to start a career mode channel, so this is kind of my inaugural video, I guess. I just want to show off what kind of career modes I'm going to be doing. This is a team I've made from regens and scouted players. I find this kind of stuff more fun,
because then you can really get into the different stories behind the characters, and they're really your players that no one else has. And you know, when you do normal career modes, everyone ends up buying the same players, like the Angel Gomez's, the Leroy Sané's, the Lautaro Martinez. I've seen that so many different career mode videos that people buy those players. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do something different with this one. I'm gonna be playing out a full season with this team, so you guys get a feel of what kind of stuff I do. And most of these players are gonna get sold. Okay, not most, but a few of these players are gonna get sold, so the team won't look like this for the whole season. I've got a few favourites, and we're going to stick to that team as the default team, as well as a second team full of less good players. But before we get into any gameplay or anything, I'm just going to sort out player roles quickly, and then I can introduce you to some of the lads that you're going to get to know over the next season. First up, we're going to look at Feliciano Lucero, our little man up top. We've got a big man, little man pairing going on, and he makes the little half at 5'6", 2-star weak foot, 3-star skill moves, incredibly good on the ball, 98 finishing, 92 shot power. He's a pure finisher, something of a Lacazette, I'd suppose, but hasn't quite got the physicality, which is why he's paired with a big man. Next to him we have Pedro Jesus, a Brazilian brick shithouse of a player, 6'4", 185 pounds, 2-star, 3-star, high defensive work rate, someone who can really throw his weight around in the box. Absolutely unplayable on his day. He's a complete forward with the poacher, distance shooter, strength and clinical finisher specialities on him. His mental physical comparison page is pretty mixed, but green in all the areas you want it to be. 99 long shots, 91 ball control, 92 finishing, 96 shot power. We're going to be getting a lot of goals with him. Behind him we have Pierre Vlietnik, who's a Belgian cam, 5-star skill moves, 2-star weak foot, medium work rates. Can also play as a centre mid. He's got the acrobat speciality and a lot of green in his mental physical comparison as well. 88 sprint speed, 91 acceleration of the highlight, 75 strength, also very useful in his position, 92 ball control, 83 dribbling, but he actually feels a lot higher than that in the game, 90 long pass, 88 short pass. He's going to get a lot of assists. On the right wing we've got Enzo Sosa, Argentinian wide man. The low work rates are a bit of a bummer, but they shouldn't make too much of a difference in game. I mean, I've used them and they don't really make a difference in game. It's got the speedster trait, 85 short pass, 91 long pass, 81 free kick accuracy, 88 curve, 77 crossing, but because of the 88 curve it feels a lot better than it is. And yeah, he's going to get a lot of assists as well. On the opposite wing we have our lowest rated player, Max Dijkstra at 81. But genuinely, he's one of those really balanced players whose stats kind of make him feel better in game than he actually is. Got 4-star, 3-star, high attacking work rate, low defensive work rate, and yeah, he's a talisman. Honestly, always turns up when we need him to. Just gonna skim through the last few here. Harrison Harris, CDM, English, deep lying playmaker. Got incredible long passing, brilliant stand tackle, brilliant long shots as well. He's a bit of a Kroos in our team. Call him the Kensington Kroos. Cem Avci is our left back. I mean, he's advertised as a right back, but I play him as a left back because he's left footed. And yeah, I prefer it that way. He's got 4-star skill moves, so he reminds me of Marcelo, even though he's got the low attacking work rate, which is nothing like Marcelo. He's got brilliant physicals, brilliant tackling, and he's also a very useful player in this save. His opposite number is Torsten Richter, by far the best player that I've ever scouted. 94 rated right back, 2-star, 3-star as well. Speedster trait, tackling trait, 96 sprint speed, 88 acceleration, 85 stamina. Strength is weirdly low for a defender, but I think with all things considered, strength is the least of our worries right now. He can shoot from distance, he can cross, he can take penalties. He's the complete package when it comes to defensive players. Here we've got Miguel Ortiz, I believe he's called Miguel, who's one of our mainstay centre backs. 87 sprint speed, 86 strength. Quite short for a centre back at 5'7". But believe me, with all his physicals, it does not affect him in the least. Next to Ortiz is the far more aggressive and physical defender. We've got a ball-playing centre-back in Velázquez. He's got 82 ball control, 89 stand tackle, 99 slide tackle, 86 short pass, 5-star weak foot. And yeah, he kind of plays out the long balls from the back. And then our final player there, as you can see, is Esteban Carrizo, who's 95 rated. And I lied before when I said Richter's the best player I've scouted. Carrizo will save us on so many occasions, I already know. By far the best player I've scouted. And that's probably the last time I'm going to say that. Anyway, we move on. Alright lads, here we are, lined up to play Everton in the Community Shield. Looking to get some silverware before we start the season, build some momentum. We've done a bit of business in the transfer window, laid off some dead wood. So yeah, hopefully we can come back and face them later in the season. But yeah, let's get into this game. Right, so first game of the season was a pretty routine win at Wembley for the Gunners. Max Dijkstra leading the first attack into Everton's box, tries to cut inside and put it on his right. Can't get a shot away. Cuts back outside. Whips in a cross. Headed away, but not far enough. Bang! Into the top left by Pedro Jesus. We'll take that very happily. But we can't get too comfortable. As you know, you're never safe on 1-0. Harris now is delivering a beautiful long ball over the top for Max Dijkstra. Can he put in another cross for us? Unfortunately, couldn't pick anyone out. Goes out for a throw. 70 minutes in and it's still 1-0. So we bring on Kento Ito, Japanese trickster, to help retain our lead. Substitute almost creates a chance on his first touch of the ball. He's released by Vleitnik. Tries to cut across goal on his right foot. Doesn't hit the target. But it's alright. Pedro Jesus, who gave us our first goal, is released. Puts it into the top right this time. And there we go. The daylight we've been looking for. And that's how it ends. 2-0 to the Arsenal on the day. Pretty routine win all in all. But we'll take the silverware. Build some momentum for the upcoming season. And so, just as soon as I get this transfer business out of the way, we host Man United at home for the first game of the season. Now, not to get overconfident or nothing, but I fancy us for the win here. In fact, I fancy us so much, I'm going to give a couple of youngsters a run out. We've got Kento Ito, 5-star Japanese winger. He's going to get chosen over Dijkstra. Ollie Mitchell will be put in at CDM. And Jonas Kramer, who's advertised as a cam, but I found him to be far more useful as a left back. And you'll see why as the season progresses. Anyway, let's get stuck in, lads. Gone are the days where we come here and we are the underdogs. We look down to Man U these days. We should get a comfortable 3 points here, lads. Oh, look at that. Angel Gomez at captain. Anyone who's on the road to glory knows how much of a hero he is. We've got to keep tabs on him, lads. And it's us to start proceedings this afternoon. Pedro Jesus kicking us off. Early into the first half, Man U gained some momentum on the front foot here. Forcing us back. Let's get the ball away. Awful clearance there. Whipping across. And you must be fucking kidding me. After all the shit I was chatting, we decided to go behind with 5 minutes on the clock. Oh, and it's Kramer. After I've sang your praises as a left back. Alright, don't let that taint your perception of him. He's actually decent. Anyway, let's not dwell on things. Let's get an instant response, lads. Send him through. Send it. Whip it in. Try and find someone on the inside. Oh, no. Oh, you need to be putting chances like that away. Passing play puts Mitchell in a bit of space. He decides to pull the trigger. Not a bad effort. Decent save from the keeper. Ito found in space. Plays Lucero in the middle. Vleitnik to Jesus. Jesus back to Vleitnik. He has an option out wide. Doesn't need it. Oh, he goes alone. And he finds the back of the net. And we're back on level terms, lads. But this is not where we want to be. We need the 3 points. Let's get another. Plenty of time. Jonas plays Ito in. Ito plays it out wide to Sosa. Sosa to Jesus. Jesus back to Sosa. Oh, decent finish. And we've been put ahead.
Well, the supporters are going absolutely nuts. They can't believe it.
And that's all we'll need.
2-1 the final score.
The final whistle.
3 points to Arsenal. Pedro Jesus takes man of the match with 2 assists. Slightnick and Sosa both impressed with their ratings. And yeah, we can be proud of the performance. On to the next one. Got a couple of messages from players here. Mr. Cisse is getting sold, so we don't really care about him. Dijkstra's unhappy, so we're going to put him in the lineup for the next game. Huddersfield away. We managed a positive start to the Huddersfield game, breaking into their box and creating a chance pretty early in the first half, though a heavy touch leaves us goalless. But yeah, we're unable to shake our bad defensive habits from the Man U game, and within the first 10 minutes we concede a penalty. Our backup keeper Lorenzo Dijkstra's put in an awkward position, and the Huddersfield striker converts very easily. We try and regain a foothold in the game with a couple of long-range efforts, this particular one coming from the right-back Torsten Richter, rips on his left foot, unlucky not to convert. But our equaliser comes after a clever bit of build-up play from the back. Long ball to Sosa. Sosa spreads it wide to Dijkstra. Dijkstra first time through ball to Lucero. Lucero goes on a lung-busting run. Into the box, cuts inside, calmly rolls it into the bottom right corner. Touch of class from the Uruguayan striker. Lucero goes and tries to put us ahead late in the second half with a long-range effort, but it's unfortunately palmed over by the keeper. Can't knock him for effort though. Sad to say that's how it ended. The points are shared at the end of 90 minutes. Lucero gets the man of the match for his 1 goal. And yeah, gonna have to pick up the form, lads. On to the next one. Next up we have a Carabao Cup tie against Charlton Athletic, and we're feeling pretty confident, so we're going to field our second team against them. Charlton Athletic look like they've signed Ainsley Maitland-Niles from Arsenal, and Ante Rebic, I'm assuming that might be, not sure. And with 39 minutes gone, it is scoreless. Oh, spoke too soon. Kramer gets a goal for us. Fulignati puts us in the lead. We seem firmly in control of this game at the moment. 70th minute. And it looks like it's going to be a W for us in the column. Now, riding that wave of momentum, we go into our next Premier League game against Liverpool. Big in here. Going to look for another top 6 victory after we just got humiliated by Huddersfield. Held to a 1-1 draw, but no, we've learned from mistakes and we're not going through that again.
Kick-off coming from Liverpool.
We managed to grab an early lead against Liverpool. Sosa putting Torsten Richter through. Richter burning down the touchline, gets dispossessed. Pedro finds him again. Bursts into the box, puts it across, and the little 5'6" Dutchman finds the back of the net with his head. Woeful defending from Liverpool there. Jurgen Klopp cannot be impressed. Unfortunately though, after 50 dull minutes of meaningless passing, Liverpool managed to find a way through. Play a simple cross across and managed to secure a sweaty goal to bring us level in the 70th minute. Poor defending from us. We went to sleep, should have secured it earlier. And that's how it ends. Yet another shared points affair. So our next outing sees us take a 4-hour trip down to South Wales. Is it down? No, it wouldn't really be down, would it? No. But either way, we're facing Swansea at the Liberty Stadium, and we're going to field our second side for this, looking for 3 points. Start the game off with some pretty sexy, fluid, attacking football here. Kento Ito gets released. Can put it across goal. Nah, hits the woodwork. Then Fulignati misses an absolutely golden opportunity to open the scoring. Really should have been hitting the target from there. Then our resident Ghanaian, James Yeboah, the skipper, makes an absolute fool of himself when he can't sort his feet out and ends up on the deck when he's through on goal. Fortunately, he redeems himself, putting the Italian throw on goal, and we open the scoring. To add to his assist, the skipper adds a beautiful curled effort from outside the box into the top right corner. and he opens his account for the new season.
Really has given them much more of a basis for the rest of this match. That's good movement forward here.
Our Spanish wide man Gilpath is put through on goal, as it seems, but he can't work an angle to get a cross in, and we win a corner.
Via that tackle.
But puts in a beautiful delivery, and his countryman manages to find the top left corner with his head.
Didn't see it, but he didn't react, and on went the ball into the net. It is a goal.
Two Spaniards connecting to add our third goal of the day. And there we have it. First clean sheet of the season. 9.6 rating for Gilpath, the man of the match. James Yeboah, the skipper, 9.6 as well. Fulignati, 9.4, the two scorers. Kento Ito put up an impressive performance with 8.2. Path completing all but one of his passes in the game, 92% pass accuracy. Very impressive performance from the man. And would you look at that? Some of his performances earned him Player of the Month. Torsten Richter, our beast of a right back. Look at that, top 6 attributes, 99 on all of them. Is there anything he can't do? One of the world's best as well. Going to start him against Atletico Madrid in a Champions League tie, or Champions Cup rather. 4-0 to us at the end. Risky move simming a game like this, but we've reaped the rewards. Give us some confidence for our next league game against Watford.
And our match today, Arsenal against Watford.
Now, the result of this game does not reflect the amount of attacking power we have in the side. In fact, Watford are quite unfortunate not to take the lead early on. Walks his way through our defence, but can't put the shot on target. However, they're left to regret that missed opportunity when Feliciano Lucero is left tearing right through their defence before ripping a shot into the top left-right corner. Did I just say top left-right corner? What the hell? Top left-hand corner. So yeah, rather uneventful game. Not the most extravagant scoreline, but we take the 3 points in the end, and that's all that matters.
That's the end of the game.
There we go, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Harris getting the man of the match with an 8.2 rating. Straight into our simmed game against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, sim games are going to be put on double speed so we can reserve most of the video time for played games and stuff. Jonathan Tah goes off in the 28th minute. Path on for Dijkstra. Jesus puts us in front. And the game ends 1-0 to us. Up next we have a replay of the Community Shield final against Everton at Goodison Park. Looking to get a win here again, lads. We've done it once. Come on! Proceedings sent underway by us. First chance of the game falls to Everton and they hit the post. We reply with a chance of our own. Throw in from Kramer finds Harris. Quick passes in the middle of the park to retain possession. Kramer finds Ito, back to Kramer. Kramer to Lucero, spreads it wide to Ito. Ito finds the ball to Jesus, and he beats the keeper at the near post. And from there, we knock on the door time and time again, pummeling Everton's defence. Ito set free, finds a cross, but Path can't connect the header. But he redeems himself moments later. Harris plays Path. Path cuts inside the defender. Continues his run. Pulls the trigger. Finds the top left corner from outside the box. But we're not done yet. 84th minute. Harris plays it to Yeboah. Yeboah looking for Ito once again. The Japanese winger cuts inside. Finds a cross. And Path gets his head on it. That's Spaniard again. But for all his efforts, we're unable to keep the clean sheet. Late in the game, Everton find a cross, and after we failed to clear our lines, they put it in the top right and get a consolation goal.
But in these circumstances, it's probably the minimum amount of pleasure that you get.
Now, after the performance at Goodison Park, we decide to reward our second team with a trip to Porto in the Champions Cup. Mitchell gives us an early lead, but it's cancelled out by Silva, and the game ends 1-1. Next up, we've got Brighton. We're putting our first team out for this one. Brighton take the lead. Richter cancels it out. Lucero scores.
and it finishes 3-1. Goals from Lucero, Jesus and Richter. North London derby up next for us. Away trip to Wembley. Can't see Spurs anywhere in the top 6. So we should be getting 3 points here, lads. Bragging rights for the rest of the season. 10 minutes into the derby, we're off to the worst possible start. Carrizo plays the ball straight to Maulida, the Spurs striker, who makes it 1-0. We restart. Unfortunately, our troubles do not end there. Sloppy defending. Maulida gets a second goal within the first 20 minutes. We're 2-0 down in the North London derby. You can already see the banners coming out. Arsenal Fan TV are going to have a field day today. Fortunately, in the 32nd minute, a misplaced kick by the Spurs keeper finds Harris, who heads it on to Lucero, who has to play it back to Jesus, and Lucero with a well-timed finish, and we're back in the game. Deep into the second half, the substitute Henry Cook finds Pedro Jesus, who puts a finesse shot into the bottom left corner to put us back on level terms, adding a goal to his assist. In the 85th minute, Henry Cook has a chance to put us ahead, but unfortunately can't find space for the shot. And it ends 2-2. A draw, the points are shared in the North London derby. Yeah, pretty lackluster performance from the lads today. Maulida gets man of the match for the 2 goals in the first half. But we can't dwell on that. We move on to Atalanta, who are our next game in the Champions Cup. We're going to play this one because we've simmed the last game against them. And we're going to give our second team a run out against them, to be honest. I reckon they can do a job for us. Pretty strong looking second side there. So we kick off against Atalanta, hoping to get the win here so we can finish top of our Champions League group. However, I have to be honest, some absolutely wonderful keeping from Lorenzo Dijkstra, our second keeper, keeps us in this game. Our first chance comes from a break from Ivan Sverko, who plays it to Yeboah. Yeboah plays it back to Sverko, who's looking to whip it in from the wide area. He finds Acuna, who just pulls it wide, but we're knocking on the door, lads. Some more acrobatic, game-saving goalkeeping from Lorenzo Dijkstra, who's really earning his keep here. Ball played wide to Jonas Kramer, who's going to look to play in Ito with a long pass. Defender fails to deal with it. Ito breaks free, cut inside. Will he find it? No. Unfortunate not to get a goal there. Minutes later on the break, Yeboah frees Path, our informed Spaniard, who finds the Italian wonder kid, who pushes through the defence and lets off a thunderous left foot shot into the top right corner. That's what we need. That is what we need. Takes us 40 minutes to get the first goal. And we're going to look to retain this lead, lads. Come on. Atlanta moving the ball around in our box, but failed to get a goal out of it. Ollie Mitchell set free, plays in for Ignati, finds Ollie Mitchell again, releases Yeboah, who's going to use his pace to burn past the defenders. Left foot, into the bottom right corner. Left foot, right foot, doesn't matter with this boy. And the captain solidifies our lead. But in the 58th minute, a defensive error from Jonas Kramer, our golden boy, puts Atlanta back in the game. But the goal proves to be little more than consolation as Path finds Ito in the box. He pulls it back for full Ignati, and the Italian gets his second of the game. But Atalanta were not ready to lie down just yet as they managed to pull back yet another consolation goal. I do not know how they pulled off that cross though. I play a lot of crosses in my games and I've never managed to pull off one like that. Just got to chalk it up to EA. Unfortunately, I kind of skipped past the post-game stats. As you can see, Fulignati got man of the match. So I moved straight on to our game against Leeds in the Premier League. Leeds opened the scoring with a corner, pulling off one of the most EA goals I've ever seen in my life. It's so lucky and so against the run of play. But doesn't really matter because our Argentinian talisman Sosa. Oh my lord. How dare you equalise like that? Absolutely cannons it off his right foot. Bit of swaz on it. Keeper gets a touch, but the shot's just too powerful. Top left corner. What a hero.
Both sides have scored here now.
Leeds are gifted with a chance to equalise in the 51st minute, and they actually almost do. They win a free kick, questionable free kick though. Whip it in, and ooh. I have to say we're really lucky that didn't get on target, otherwise we might be in trouble. Little Dutch boy Dijkstra finds a ball over the top to Lucero, who cuts inside, and for reasons I'll never understand, uses his left foot to strike there. We're in a bit of danger of finishing 1-1 here, dropping points against Leeds, but it's alright. Dijkstra finds Pedro. Pedro smacks into the bottom right corner with his left foot, and we take 3 points in the closing minutes. Scenes. So, we move on to a quick sim game here against Sheffield Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. Mitchell gives us an early lead. Hernandez takes an injury. Mitchell again, the CDM turning into a goal scorer for this. Fulignati gets us the third goal, and that's it, 3-1. Next we play Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. And yeah, we're in a real run here in the Premier League, so I'm going to be looking to take 3 points again here. And we get off to a flying start against the South London side. Flightnick finds Lucero. Lucero stops, has to play in his strike partner. Finds the outer space. Puts us 1-0 ahead. Pedro Jesus' size and stature coming in handy here. Some beautiful defending from the front. Finds Flightnick. Flightnick finds Ito. And Ito doubles our lead. Unfortunately, one of Crystal Palace's few dominant spells in the game, we give away a simple free kick. And even though Richter stops the first shot, they managed to crack one into the top right corner. I can't complain though. I mean, no one's stopping a shot like that. But Crystal Palace get a bit more jam later in the game. Very soft free kick given there. Rules to take. I mean, to be honest, fair play. That was a decent strike. They deserved their goal. But it's not a problem because we're not level for very long. Pedro connects with Lucero once again this season. And Lucero finishes it, no problem. Pedro Jesus showing just how important he is with that defending from the front. Finds Flightnick, and the Belgian puts it away for our 4th goal of the game. Our favourite Dutchman comes on as an impact sub. Pedro wins the ball once again. Lucero finds Dijkstra. And he must be fuming that he's missed that. But regardless of that blunder, the game ends 4-2. Jesus taking the Man of the Match award, very deservedly, showing how important defending from the front is. And yeah, we move on to the next one. Our next few games are against inferior opposition, and so we'll be simming them. First of which is a game against Porto in the Champions Cup, and it's a pretty easy 3-1 finish, it looks like. Next against West Ham in the Premier League, Lucero gives us an early lead, and the game will finish 3-0 to us. And now Wolves. Game looking pretty even, and no, we're down to 10 men, and leave. Oh no! Oh, we are handed our first L of the season. Enzo Sosa gets Player of the Month. Doesn't really take the sting off, but you know, gotta look at the positives. Was really hoping for an unbeaten season, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, whatever I suppose. On to the London derby against Chelsea. Come on lads, we cannot dwell upon that defeat. Need to go and get 3 points here. Make a statement. It looked like we were going to be making easy work of Chelsea with an early break. Dijkstra puts Pedro Jesus through, and he's never going to miss from there. 1-0. But from there onwards, the goals are pretty difficult to come by. I mean, we made chances, but just like here, we just couldn't finish them. Here on the break, Pedro Jesus going to put his 2-star weak foot to the test. But eventually, 30 in-game minutes into the second half, we get our break. Dijkstra finds Lucero. Lucero finds his partner. And Pedro Jesus makes easy work of that. Brilliant finish. Top right corner. As composed as can be. Unfortunately, Chelsea find us sleeping at the wheel and manage to pull one back. But all in all, it doesn't really matter. Ends 2-1. We take the win. We move straight on to our next game against the reigning champions of England, Manchester City. And boy, you are in for a slobber knocker. I'm only going to show the goals that came out of this game. First of which coming from Lucero, who curls in a beautiful effort from outside the box, putting us 1-0 up within the first 3 minutes of the game. Ironically, when you look at it from this angle, it looks like the kind of goal Aguero would score against the current Arsenal team. But a beautiful goal nonetheless. Unfortunately, our lead doesn't last. We end up losing it in the 26th minute. I mean, that was shambolic defending. That should never have managed to find its way into the goal. But Harrison Harris tries to restore our lead with a long-range effort. But just wins us a corner. Whipped in by Sosa. Pedro. And Lucero restores our lead. That's a brace for him on the day. But once again, Manchester City find an easy fucking equalizer. Yet more shambolic defending puts us on level terms. But a shrewd little tackle from Sosa, our wide man, wins us possession, and he begins a lung-busting run into the opposition half, releases Jesus. Jesus cuts onto his left foot, puts the defender on his arse, and finds the top left corner. 3-2 to us. We are once again ahead at the Etihad. But for fuck's sake, City once again managed to find a fucking foothold in the game with this jammy ass effort. Ugh. And to add insult to injury, they have the audacity to run through our defense just like that, skill out, and then they take the lead. We just threw the entire concept of defending out the window with this. But in the 84th minute, Jonas Kramer wins back the ball. Just a minute after they managed to score, Ito released out wide, whips it in, finds Pedro, bit of jam, and Lucero gets his hat-trick. Hat-trick against the champions of England. How would you like that? Please ignore that celebration. That was an accident. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, we're now on level terms yet again. Not that it fucking matters because we give away a penalty in the 90th minute. Are you mad? Oh, you did so well, Kramer, and then you had to do that. Oh, for fuck's sake. But you know what? No, we have worked way too hard to leave with 0 points here. Pedro holds it up, turns around, cuts it back inside. Lucero plays in Flightnick. Flightnick with the touch. Oh, yes please. That was the most satisfying goal I've ever scored. Holy shit. Well, told you in for a slobber knocker. 10-goal thriller against Man City. Points shared at the end of it though. And with that, Lucero takes both the match ball and the man of the match home. Very well deserved. And it was actually a very good team performance, apart from the absolutely atrocious defending. That is something we're going to need to work on in the coming games. We cannot let teams like City just walk through us like that. But yeah, 5-5 is the final score. And yeah, we take the 1 point. Come on, lads. Now with 16 games played of the season, we find ourselves 5 points clear at the top. Second City, third, surprise package Southampton. But no matter, we're going to be looking to extend our lead of the title against Leicester here. Harris opens the scoring in the 24th minute. Flightnick joins him on the score sheet with a brace as we run a 3-0 routing of Leicester. Next to the chopping board is Newcastle United. We're playing our second team here. Filignati opens the scoring as Newcastle miss a pen. Harris joins Filignati on the score sheet. And a late goal by Cook makes it 3-1 to us. After the Newcastle game, we find ourselves in the January transfer window. Our tricky Belgian centre attacking midfielder Pierre Flightnick earns himself a Player of the Month award. And it's the little Uruguayan Feliciano Lucero at the top of the goal scoring charts. Big man Pedro Jesus at number 6 with 8 goals. Pretty impressive performance from the duo. And to add to his impressive goal tally, Pedro Jesus has notched 6 assists this season. Sosa in 3rd, Dijkstra in 4th. Very happy with that start of the season actually, lads. You can be proud of that. We'll take a quick peek at our squad hub to see who's made the most appearances this season. We've got Harris, the Kensington Crows, with 25 appearances this season. 4 goals, 4 assists and 7 clean sheets. Pretty respectable numbers to be honest, and he's gone up 1 overall to 89, putting up amongst the best in the world at the moment. Next up we've got our striker slash cam turned right winger, Enzo Sosa, the Argentinian, who's been very impressive in the first half of the season, notching 2 goals, one of them an absolute screamer, and 6 assists in 16 league appearances. Going to be looking to improve him even further from his 89 rating. Kento Ito, our Japanese left wing, has also enjoyed a healthy start to the season. 4 goals and 4 assists in 20 appearances. Though to be fair, he's normally a sub and doesn't play the full 90 minutes. But yeah, looking forward to an exciting second half of the season from him. Torsten Richter has also been very impressive in the first half of the season. While his stats don't show it, he's technically had the highest rating in terms of playing, 7.6, than any other players I've shown so far. Yeah, he's been very impressive, strong defensively, great getting forward, and we're very lucky to have him.
Our first match of the new year sees us out against Derby. We've managed 3 draws in the last 3 games, and we'll be looking to end that streak. And we do. Filignati and Ito get on the score sheet to make it 2-1. He moves straight on to our Newcastle tie, where Lucero is looking to continue his form from the previous year. We kick off, and straight off the bat, Pierre Flightnick uses his quick feet to get into the box and work himself a yard of space before letting fly on his left. Unfortunately, he can't hit the target. But before long, nature takes its course. Sosa found in space, plays through Pedro Jesus, cuts onto his left, smacks into the top left. Unfortunately, his performance is tainted by indiscipline, as he gets himself booked before half-time. But he shows his quality once again as he lets the ball run for Dijkstra, who whips it in for Sosa, who lets fly on his left and finds the bottom left corner. 2-0. But then again, as has been the theme of this season, defensive frailties let us down, and they pull one back. It feels like this is the only way I can concede. These jammy, annoying goals that you really can't do much about. But once again, we prove why we're a class above Newcastle, with some clever play in their box. Pass it around. Jesus finds Harris, who curls it into the top right. 3-1. Our 2-goal lead is restored. And that's how it ends. 3-1 the score. We've done the double on them. Taken 6 points from the Magpies. Sosa gets 9.3, man of the match. 9.2 for Jesus despite his booking. The cheek of him. Nope, having none of that. We face off against Pompey in the FA Cup. Acuna gets a double to put us 2-0 in the lead. Filignati joins him on the score sheet to make it 3-0. Confidence got to my head and I sim a game against Watford in the Carabao Cup. Kovacic gets him in the lead. A double from him puts them 2-1 up and we lose the game. Not of major importance though, we still sit 11 points clear at the top. Liverpool, Manchester United and Manchester City making the rest of the top 4. Only 1 loss in 20 games for us. On to the next one. Our next match sees us off to the King Power Stadium to face the Foxes. Tammy Abraham gets the ball rolling. And early on we get an advantage in the final third. Ref sees none and we win the free kick. Lucero can't quite get into the top left corner. And we restart.
The team is dealt an absolute blow when Richter goes for a header, lands awkwardly, and stays down. Turns out he's injured. Have to call in Sverko to replace him. Hopefully it's short term, but that ambulance isn't looking so great. Kramer tries to fill the hole left by Richter by bombing forward and whipping a cross in, but Lucero... Oh my god. Just after half-time, Leicester in a corner. It's Haidara to whip it in. Thought we'd deal with it, but Billing smacks a shot in off the post, and we go 1-0 behind. We're in a corner of our own 10 minutes later, and somehow Lucero beats his man to it, but can't put it on target. And that's how it ends. We dealt our first L from a played game of the season. Though we lost to Wolves earlier in a sim, so we weren't going to be invincible anyway. Disappointing nonetheless. Next up we have Everton for our second league meeting of the season. This time at the Emirates, we'll be looking to take 3 points in front of the home crowd. In the opening minutes, Everton were dominant and managed to grab a goal before 5 minutes were on the clock. Looked like we're going to get another L in a played game right after the Leicester one. And that may have been the case, but for a heroic performance by Pedro Jesus. Sosa's free kick cleared to safety. Corner for Max Dijkstra. Strong delivery from the Dutchman. Pedro wins it at the near post. Just as it seemed like it was going to end in a draw, Harrison Harris breaks the deadlock with a screamer. A spot of lazy passing from Everton allows Harris to find Sosa, who finds Pedro, who cuts inside, curls it inside off the post. Then in the final minutes, Everton are left exposed after committing too many men forward. Sosa burns past the defence, finds Jesus in space, and he finishes it to complete his hat-trick. The perfect hat-trick. 3 shots, left foot, right foot, off the noggin. Most complete forward in the Premier League. Now this game I'd actually planned on skipping. It's the second leg of our Watford tie in the Carabao Cup. But it turned out to be a pretty heroic performance, so I had to stick it in there. Now first things first, Watford add to their 2-1 aggregate lead with a goal from Richarlison, putting them 2 goals to the good and sinking another nail into our Carabao Cup coffin. And things only go from bad to worse as the Brazilian wins his side a penalty right on the brink of half-time. But the pressure proves too much for Lundberg, who smacks it up against the woodwork, and we get it clear. After a thorough dressing down in the locker rooms though, we come out a different side in the second half. Early on, Kramer finds Yeboah, but he fails to convert. As the minutes fly by, the pressure begins to mount. Path finds Filignati in the middle of the cross, who rockets a left-footed volley into the keeper. Out on a mission to prove themselves, our second team managed to pull one back. Filignati finds Ito. Ito puts Yeboah through. Yeboah composes himself before letting fly with his left foot into the bottom right corner. 1-1 the score, 3-2 on aggregate. We're back in this, boys. Come on. Throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them, we managed to pull another back. Sverko pushes into the box, whips on a cross. Ito meets with his head, and there we go. 3-3 in the 78th minute. We're going to extra time, lads. We're still in this. We almost dealt another blow in extra time, but Lorenzo Dijkstra's equal to it. The young English playmaker Ollie Mitchell plays Filignati through the space. The Italian pushes through into the box, but he fails to get a shot on target. But Watford make the mistake of giving him a second chance. The Italian pushes into their box once again, this time on his right foot, and he converts from close range. The comeback is complete. Watford have done it, they've blown their 3-1 lead, and we're through to the finals. The second team proving their worth with a historic victory. Now we're going to breeze through the next game's highlights as quickly as possible so we can get to the cup final. North London derby, 30th minute, Flightnick put through by Lucero, finds the top left corner, 1-0. Late in the second half, Tottenham committed way too many men forward. Sosa knocks it forward, into space, no one's catching him. Quick feet, cuts inside, left foot inside the post. Job done. Taken 3 points away from Spurs in front of our home fans. Brilliant. Next up we have Brighton and Hove Albion, and we're fielding our second side so we can give our main men a rest before the cup final. Things start off well for us at the Amex Stadium, with Akumo ripping one into the bottom corner with his left foot from outside the box. He might only be 77 rated, but he always shows up when we need him to. Brighton managed to pull one back in the 53rd minute. Lord knows how this has gone in, but once again, it's defensive frailties letting us down at the back. Now I have to be honest, the Seagulls make us look like right knobs with this one. One touch passing, easy as you like. Puts the defender on his arse. Puts his man through, finds his man in the box. Near post goal. Sad to say that's all she wrote. And here we are, the Carabao Cup final. Only what we deserve. We've worked hard for this, lads. Looking to field our full strength first team, but due to fitness issues, the best option we have available at right back is an injured Torsten Richter. But you know what? Injured Torsten's better than no Torsten, I say.
Big welcome to you all for a very big game. It is the final of the Carabao Cup, the English League Cup, and going for silverware, two fine teams. I'm Martin Tyler, with me is Alan Smith.
Pedro Jesus gets the ball rolling. We start strong when Harris plays a long searching ball over the top to find Sosa. It's cut out, but Pedro Jesus puts Sosa back on track. Sosa tries to find the far post, but can't quite make it. Even while carrying a knock, Torsten Richter plays out of his skin. Completes the tackle, puts Sosa through on goal. Looks for a cross, keeper cuts it out. We spend most of the first half knocking on the door. Harris completes yet another tackle, puts Dijkstra through. Dijkstra finds Jesus in space. Jesus holds it up, passes it back to Dijkstra. Dijkstra puts Lucero through, but the striker can't get a shot away. The first half is just chance after chance after chance. Torsten Richter whipping the ball in here, but there's no one in the middle to get on the end of it. But first chance they get, Tammy Abraham puts away a shot, deflects off the defender and finds its way into the top right corner. We're put behind. Early in the second half, our little Dutch boy gives us a lifeline. Finds Lucero on the break, cuts inside, plays the little Dutch man in, and he finds the bottom corner. Our old defensive frailty seems to be a thing of the past in this game, as less a struggle for chances. Tammy Abraham tries to loop the header over the keeper, but he finds his safe hands. The score remains level into extra time, but we continue to pummel at Leicester's defence with our fast, fluid attacking football. Lucero puts Harris in, but the deep line midfielder takes too many touches and can't get a shot away. Then after being brought on as an impact sub for Max Dijkstra, Kenta Ito does just that. He cuts inside with a fantastic piece of skill to beat his marker, powers down the touchline, cuts inside again before getting the cross away, and Pedro Jesus is never going to miss from there. In the final minute of the Carabao Cup final, we take the win. Now the Carabao Cup might not be the most prestigious of awards in football, but it's symbolic. It's the first of our victories this season, and we can be proud.
They are the champions!
Now whilst you lot weren't looking, we've only gone and got into the quarter-finals of the Champions Cup. And we've drawn Real Madrid. The first of the legs are going to be played at home. And while this is quite a task for us, I feel like we can at least hold them to a draw. Top priority is going to be cutting out any away goals that they can get. Now with the team we managed to build, it's rare that we find ourselves as the underdogs in a tie. But this is Real Madrid, the most successful Champions League team in all history. They have 13 titles to our 0. We cannot take this game lightly. We start the game off strong, punching a hole in their defence within the first 3 minutes. Fleitnik gets into the box, but fails to lift the ball over the keeper. We're left to rue that chance, as Real Madrid wastes no time in showing us how it's done. We soon find out that was only the beginning, as Vleitnik's dispossessed in the middle of the park, and Real Madrid are released on the break. Despite our best efforts, we struggle to find any traction in the opposing half. All our attacks seem to come to nothing. And with ruthless conviction, Real Madrid put the game to bed. Now lads, down we may be, but out we are not. Pedro Jesus gets us underway in the second leg of the Champions Cup quarter-final. Within seconds, Lucero's exposed a gap in Real Madrid's defence, but his subsequent pullback doesn't quite come off. We go again, lads. The Real Madrid side we face today bears almost no resemblance to the one we played in the last game, as we continuously cut through them like a hot knife through butter. Real Madrid's first chance of the day is harmlessly parried away by Esteban Carrizo, determined to redeem himself after the humiliation of the first leg. The score remains 0-0 as we move into the second half. Real Madrid so far have been equal to all the chances we've created. The Argentinian Enzo Sosa endears himself to the fans with the performance of a lifetime, causing constant problems for the opposition defence. Our first goal of the game comes from the little Uruguayan man up top, put in a plate for him by none other than the mercurial Argentine Enzo Sosa. With 10 minutes of the game left to play, Real Madrid seem to have caught a second wind. Unwilling to give up possession, they swing cross after cross into our box in hopes of an equaliser. And it's the former Arsenal man Laurent Lecomte who puts his volley well into Rosette and marks the last chance of the day. And with the referee's whistle, our hopes at European glory are crushed. So it looks like it's going to be Milan, Madrid, Spurs and either Dortmund or Liverpool in the semi-finals. But do not despair, lads, as we still compete for silverware on two fronts. The first of those fronts being the FA Cup, and here we face Crystal Palace in the semi-finals. The Eagles get a good start, putting one in at the near post in the 26th minute to put them 1-0 up. But their lead doesn't last long, as Ito finds Yeboah, who knocks it forward into space, runs onto it, and beats the keeper at the far post. Forgot to mention we're fielding our second side for this game. The winning goal comes from Path after a beautiful switch of the play by Fulignati, finds the Spaniard in space, and the wide man applies the finishing touches. Also, I realise I've been calling him Fulignati for this whole video, but I just learned it's pronounced Fulignati. Apologies to any Italians. Next up come the final league games of the season, and despite going behind in the first minute, I have to be honest, these games feel like little more than a formality at this point. Next up we face Man City for the second time this season, but first, I think this man deserves a number change. There's only one number I've got in my mind. There you go, you've earned it, son. Do us proud. Man City get off to their usual flying start against us, smacking into the side netting from outside the box in the first minute. But Enzo Sosa proves his worth a number 14 shirt by getting his first of 2 assists, puts Lucero through, who finds the top left corner. Sosa grabs his second assist of the day with an absolute peach of a cross to Pedro Jesus in the middle, who converts from close range, putting us ahead. Unfortunately, as they always seem to, City managed to get an equaliser late in the second half, and the points are shared. We find ourselves facing Leeds in a game that will decide the league title. Unfortunately, the Whites get an early lead after some sloppy defending. But the fast, fluid, attacking football that's been characteristic of our second team puts Yeboah into the box in the 26th minute. He finds Path, who lifts it over the keeper's leg and converts. Shortly afterwards, Path finds the bottom left corner again and puts us in front. The Spaniard's scintillating performance continues as he adds an assist to his 2 goals, finding Ito unmarked in the box, and he heads from close to make it 3-1. And with that, we are crowned champions of England. Quick pause here just to let you know, it's not me being lazy. For some reason, I couldn't get the cutscene where we lift the trophy for the Premier League. I don't know what that's about. It's happened to me before, but yeah, that's why I haven't shown it. But not to worry, lads, we move on to the last game of the season. We've got another trophy cutscene coming later on. But yeah, let's get Chelsea out of the way. Now, as the title had already been decided, this game against Chelsea was pretty meaningless in the grand scheme of things. The Sosa puts us ahead in the first half and runs to celebrate with the crowd, who've really taken the mercurial Argentine into their hearts this season. Chelsea seem to be running a tight ship at the back, keeping out most of our attacks with ease. But late in the second half, a mistake leaves them exposed, and Chelsea are powerless as Henry Cook lines up an absolute thunder cunt of a shot. And with the sound of the referee's whistle, the Premier League comes to an end. Ended up being a pretty routine win against Chelsea in the end. And yeah, Henry Cook just snatches the Goal of the Season award away from Sosa in the dying minutes of the game. And next up we have the final game of the video, the FA Cup final against Liverpool, 2032. The game ends up being one of the most one-sided cup finals in the history of English football. We open the scoring with a driven outside-the-box effort from Lucero, who finds the top right corner. The second goal of the game starts with an interception from Avci, who finds Harris, Kramer, who plays Lucero, who chips it over the top to Sosa, who heads it back inside to Pedro, who finds Sosa in space, and we go from one box to the other, and then find the bottom left corner. And then Jonas Kramer as a cherry on top, with a beautiful left-footed strike from outside the box, making it 4. And for what might be the first time this season, we managed to keep a clean sheet. And with that victory, we bring our season to a close. I was going to knock Liverpool for having an easy route to the final, but so did we, to be honest. But that doesn't matter. All people are going to remember is we won the domestic treble, League Cup, FA Cup and the league itself. Can't say it was a comfortable win in the league. Second place way closer to us than I thought they would be. United, Spurs and Liverpool make out the rest of the top 4. Liverpool's Kim takes the golden boot home, unfortunately. Jesus a close second with 19 goals to Kim's 22. Sosa takes top assist award, 15 assists in the league, 6 more than second place. And to end the season off, we're going to look at some individual achievements from some of our squad members. With goals scored, there's no surprises as Pedro Jesus takes the top spot with 27 goals. I think he managed them in 38 games. Big man always ready for a scrap, pushes past defenders like they weren't there before rocketing home with his left foot. Second place, Feliciano Lucero, his partner up top. No surprises there either with 17 goals, which he managed in I think 35 games. Little man's a bit trickier, good on the ball, right foot's deadly from distance, and he's scored a couple of bangers for us this season. Simeone Felignati might come as a surprise for some people. The little Italian actually managed exactly the same season stats as Feliciano Lucero, 17 goals and 6 assists, except he manages them in 27 games instead of 35. Pretty impressive season for the little Italian, especially as he's a second player, but he's done a job for us every time he's gone out and got a few goals. Pierre Fleitnick and Gil Path round off the bottom 2 spots. Pierre Fleitnick, no surprises to be seen, started off the season strong before getting injured. Gil Path, also no surprises to be seen. In the same boat as Simeone Felignati, he's managed 8 goals and 9 assists in about 17 games all season, which is insane. You could argue that he plays easier opponents, but you can only beat what's in front of you, innit? We now look at the more creative members of the squad with the assists. Enzo Sosa taking top spots, 17 assists all season. He's been an absolute demon on the right wing, using his pace to blitz past people before whipping in a cross, or just finding long passes over the top that no one else can seem to see. Second place, Max Dijkstra, his opposite number on the left wing. The little Dutchman, as I told you at the beginning, he's a talisman. He might only be 81 rated, but his stats he's so well balanced and he's just so much fun to use. Third place goes to Pedro Jesus, who's been equally creative as he has been deadly in front of goal. He's managed 10 assists all season. He loves to hold up the ball with his strength and then play other players in. Gil Path, 9. Again, he's had a spectacular season with his creativity. I should have used him a lot more actually. I should have started him a lot more. Kento Ito, number 5, who's his opposite number as well. The Japanese trick has also been very dangerous. He's been using his skill to get past people, whipping crosses, and just generally been a menace to defenses all season. Now with the clean sheets, I've actually awarded this only to defensive players, because there are a lot of attacking players who have more clean sheets than these people. But if I only gave attacking players awards, it wouldn't really be fair. So first of all, Cem Avci takes the top spot for most clean sheets. Super solid Turkish left back. In second place, we have a triple tie with Velázquez, Carrizo and Harris, all managing 13 clean sheets. Lucas Ortiz, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. The Argentinian centre-back, little man, 5'7", but always ready for a scrap as well. I think it's the South American, just the fire in them. They just always ready to get stuck in. Anyway, he's managed 12 clean sheets rather, not assists. Torsten Richter, unfortunately, he was out because of injury for a while, but he managed 11 clean sheets while he was fit. Lorenzo Dijkstra, the second keeper, managed 10 clean sheets, and he has also been very, very useful. Again, overall rating isn't everything. He's only 80 rated, but he's played like a 90 rated keeper this season. Sometimes goals and assists cloud people's judgment, and so they assume if you've scored a lot, then you've played well, but that's not always the case. Except in this case, it is the case, because Pedro, Jesus and Feliciano Lucero take the top spot with 8.0 ratings over the whole season. Even more impressive considering how much game time they've had. Max Dijkstra takes the next spot with 7.8, also been very impressive, whether or not he's scored or assisted. Enzo Sosa, also been very impressive, managing to be the most creative player in the whole season. And yeah, I actually didn't really like him when I first bought him. He was supposed to be a squad player, but yeah, he ended up being a starter. Pierre Fleitnick, 7.6, and Esteban Carrizo keeping us safe throughout the season with a 7.5. And now lads, it's time to indulge in some highlights from the past season, starting with goals. My third place pick for goal of the season goes to Feliciano Lucero for his strike against Manchester City. Man picks out the top bins from 25 yards out against City in the first 2 minutes. What's not to like? Following him is the deadly Swaz rocket shot from Enzo Sosa against Leeds United. The audacity needed to attempt a strike like this immediately after conceding is insane, and the fact that it's outside of the foot just makes it all the more satisfying. I didn't think we'd see a better strike all season until Henry Cook showed up in the final game with this against Chelsea. We move on to assists of the season, and first up is Fuliniati's assist on Path against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. Next up is a pick from very early in the season. Pedro Jesus finds Sosa with a back heel against Man U, cutting 3 defenders out of the game. But after missing out on goal of the season, Sosa makes sure he secures the assist of the season with this cross to Pedro Jesus against City. And finally we're on to player of the season, and while there are a lot of decent picks for this award, I felt that there was really only one. It's our mercurial Argentine, Enzo Sosa, who wins the award after a phenomenal performance this season. With 6 goals and 17 assists to make 23 goal involvements in 45 games, he managed a goal or assist in every 2 games he played. And that's it for this video, lads. Whoever's watching, if you're still watching, thank you for getting to the end. I put a lot of work into this and I hope it shows through. I'll be doing more of these in the future, but I'm going to give it a rest for a while because Jesus Christ, this took 3 straight days of work. And yeah, as I said before, I'm finishing high school and I'm going to need to focus on that for a bit. But yeah, if you felt someone else deserved player of the season, let me know in the comments below. Like and share this video if you want. I'll be getting FIFA 19 as soon as possible, and then I'll start working on videos on that as well. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I've really enjoyed this. Unfortunately, I started this in the 2032 season, which is the last season you're allowed to play career mode, so I can't continue with this. But I've got a Blackpool and a Liverpool save with similar regens and scouted players that I'm looking forward to showing you guys. But until then, geez, I've got no clue how to end a video. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it now.